Rabbits come from all kinds of different backgrounds, including starting their life journey with humans who do not believe that they require gentle handling and proper care. A lot of people acquire their rabbit when they're just tiny kits. Maybe they get it as a gift for a child or bring a rabbit into the home without proper preparations or even really learning about their base nature or biology. When the rabbit enters a juvenile phase of life, out the door he goes. Or he's dumped, abandoned, or stuck in a backyard cage with no escape from the heat or changing seasons. And this is even today still more common than we'd like to think. All of these problems can be avoided by proper education, learning something about rabbits and what they require before bringing one into your care. In this video, I want to talk a little bit about rehabilitation. Working with so many rabbits that have come from harsh beginnings over the years, you really learn a lot about body language and the need to go beyond just the basics. Some rabbits don't come to us healthy, normal, or well-adjusted. They can show up with all kinds of problems created by prior owners, health problems, or genetics. This video focuses more on rabbits with harsh beginnings, the rabbits that do not consistently display normal for rabbit behaviors when they first arrive. These are rabbits that have already learned that humans are unpredictable, rough, or even scary. They've already had their trust broken in some way. This could be a result of many things, including rough handling when they were babies or small kits, children mishandling them, being grabbed, chased, or constantly picked up. It could have been a result of neglect or a lack of safe socialization. Or, all too common with rabbits, trust may have been broken because of abandonment during the teenage phase. Abandonment includes tossing the rabbit outside to live life confined in a backyard cage. It's not just dumping them alongside the road, though that's a problem for these animals too. Rabbits learn through experience. Like other animals, they have strong instincts for survival. Since they're prey animals, establishing trust from the very beginning is important. Once humans have broken that trust, positive interactions become more and more difficult. Some mistakes that humans make is allowing the rabbit to be picked up suddenly. They also allow small children and others to mishandle the rabbit in other ways, like grabbing, squeezing, or pulling the rabbit's fur. The rabbit is terrified when suddenly lifted from the ground. That's exactly how a predator bird would capture a rabbit in nature. Your pet rabbit's prey instincts are still intact. Being suddenly lifted or even consistently mishandled is terrifying. Doing these things to rabbits teaches them that humans are the same as predators. When it comes to being picked up suddenly, after being mishandled that way by humans, the rabbit's instinct is always going to be to protect himself from being picked up again. So kicking, biting, scratching when someone tries to pick him up, those are common actions for a rabbit to take, even if he hasn't been mishandled. But for rabbits that have had bad experiences in the past, those behaviors are going to be escalated. Rabbits feel safest with all four paws on the floor, even if they had the best of beginnings. People who acquire rabbits without learning about them also make the mistake of chasing them rather than letting the rabbit come to them. Like being suddenly lifted from the ground, chasing a rabbit triggers a prey animal instinct. The rabbit's not having fun when he's being chased. In actuality, he's terrified. Once again, he begins to associate humans as a predator. This breaks down trust even further. Another common problem, especially for those people who still believe that young rabbits, or kits, make good gifts for children, is allowing the rabbit to be handled like it's a toy instead of a sensitive, fragile animal with unique biology and needs. Even with all the good information published in recent years about proper care and handling, this remains a huge problem in the world of rabbits. Rabbits are not toys. In most cases, they're not even suitable gifts. There are always exceptions, but most often, families haven't established any guidelines or rules for a rabbit entering the family. Mishandling, misfeeding, overcaging, and basically ignoring the needs of these animals creates a situation over time where rabbits associate humans with stress and with danger. Once a rabbit associates humans with that predatory behavior, damage is already done. Body language gets more complex, and the rabbit learns that he has to defend himself against humans at all costs. Rabbits who've learned that they can't trust humans will need a different approach, one that starts with rehabilitation from whatever harm or trauma has occurred in the past. And humans aren't the only thing that some of these rabbits don't trust. The rabbit might have been forced to interact with other animals without any proper bonding or without safety measures in place. Rabbits who have been forced to interact this way may have been harmed and probably scared. They also need rehabilitation. A rabbit in need of rehab might consistently hide. He sits with his back pressed into a corner or against a wall. He may freeze when you enter the room. He doesn't quite feel comfortable freely exploring his environment like a rabbit should do when he has a new environment. This is all part of a rabbit's language. Without any human words, the rabbit is saying, "I've been here with your kind before. Humans cannot be trusted." Here's a tip about rabbits that find corners to consistently press their backs into. They're up against a wall, so to speak. This is very strong body language. The rabbit's trying to position himself where he has the best chance to fight if he needs to protect himself. In other words, he's in a position to be able to see danger coming at him from all directions. That's a very sad state of being for an otherwise calm, gentle species. While rabbits do hide and retreat when they're normal and healthy, the behavior I'm talking about becomes a baseline. The body language is different than a rabbit who's relaxing and comfortable and goes and finds a hiding spot. A rabbit who positions himself for protection beyond that first day or two is a pretty strong indicator that he feels unsafe. Another indicator that the rabbit might need rehabilitation before anything else happens is repetitive behaviors like lunging, biting, kicking, or constant grunting in a way that seems to indicate a warning. Rabbits that haven't been treated well might even charge something or someone he perceives to be a threat. Most of the time, rabbits displaying defensive behaviors like this are quickly labeled as aggressive. From there, the rabbit's situation gets even worse because the rabbit owner doesn't understand what is happening. This is why I always teach that body language is not as simple as ear position or whatever the tail is doing. Those things are important and help us understand some things about rabbits. If you have a rabbit, you do need to learn basic body language. However, normal for rabbit body language is just the basics of the basics. Observing a rabbit while considering what is happening in the environment at that moment is also important. When caring for a rabbit that needs rehab, there's a step before step one, and it's like a ground zero for animal care. Whatever humans put this rabbit through in the past, it needs to be healed before normal interactions are possible. Always, humans must understand what the rabbit is trying to communicate. Yes, by watching the ears and tail and other body positions at any given moment. Though necessary to learn, it's still surface level knowledge. Rehabilitating a rabbit requires that we learn their full language, whatever the rabbit is saying without words. A rabbit consistently positioned to defend himself is a loud signal. To make matters a bit more complex, some rabbits display this strange kind of conflicted behavior with humans. The rabbit might cautiously approach you and then run away. This behavior indicates that the rabbit wants to trust you, but he doesn't. A rabbit might take food and then run away. He might be hesitant to even take a treat from you. As you watch rabbits in need of rehabilitation, you'll see their curiosity. It's part of a rabbit's nature to be very curious and explore everything. Rabbits with harsh beginnings still have curiosity as part of their nature, but that cautious part of them has taken over. They approach and they retreat, and they do it over and over again. Or they won't even approach for something most rabbits love, like a little slice of banana. When you see this consistent behavior, the rabbit is saying, "I want to believe you're different, but I don't trust you. Not yet." That's fairly loud signaling as well. No audible words are ever spoken by the rabbit. This is rabbit language you're seeing. Many behaviors are part of a rabbit's way of communicating with other animals or with us. They have their own language. It's how they interact with the world around them. It would be impossible to share all of them in one video or even a series of videos. But one thing you can do immediately is to stop asking, how do I fix this rabbit? Instead, think about what the rabbit may have possibly experienced that would cause the behaviors you're seeing. Making that mental shift is very important. Still today, part of our human culture demands that wrongdoing be met with discipline or punishment. While this may be necessary for humans in some cases, it's a human cultural system that does not work with rabbits. Our human thinking about correcting whatever it is we don't like, things that cause our flow of life to be more difficult, it just doesn't work with a lot of animals. They are not humans. They do not have the same reason and logic driving them that we do. That means we can't just ask them verbally to do something we want and expect them to do it. Rabbits are driven to act on instinct and align with their biology and their base nature. Obviously, they have the ability to associate us with kindness, gentleness, and a safe place to live. That means they also have the ability to associate humans with predators. Rabbits that have not been cared for properly or they've been mishandled harshly in the past, they don't need punishment or consequences. They need a different kind of human-rabbit interaction than what they've experienced before they got to you. They need time to rebuild trust because remember, trust is everything with rabbits. Rabbit rehabilitation can be easy or it can be difficult. Even someone with many years of experience often has to observe the rabbit for a couple days to see exactly what's going on. If you see behaviors that are not typical of a happy, well-adjusted rabbit, these two things will help you determine your next steps. First, ask yourself, what could this rabbit have experienced that makes him behave this way toward me? And second, what can I do right now to start rebuilding trust? Whenever I have a rabbit placed in my care and I start noticing certain behaviors, especially positioning himself defensively over and over, regardless what is happening in the environment, I remember this one thing. Unfortunately, many animals have visible scars due to being mishandled or mistreated in their past. Those scars are wounds that have already healed. But there are also invisible scars, the wounds that remain unhealed. Those invisible scars are typically a result of harsh beginnings. Those rabbits need a lot of patience and understanding right from the start. People with a lot of experience rehabilitating rabbits know that those invisible scars need to be a first consideration from day one. Rehabilitation takes time. Some rabbits take an extraordinary amount of time to get them to the point where they trust humans again. There might be no quick fix. You might need to consult with someone who has years of rehabilitation experience. Or you might have to make the very difficult decision to rehome your rabbit if you don't have that experience, don't have the patience, or the time to deal with it. Again, there are so many factors that feed into this, and everybody needs to make the right choice for themselves and what's best for the rabbit. With the passing of time, gentle interactions, patience, and consistency, most mistreated rabbits will begin to replace defensive behaviors with trust. That's where real progress can begin.